So I'm going to reference a couple of different people or talks this morning. If you wanted to follow up on what I'm going to say, but I'll start off with something I can't reference because I was scrolling and came across a psychology journal online, and that I was talking about some research, and I didn't take a note. I got interested sort of partway through. So it was a study of older adults, and the research was around what makes some people, as they grow older, get into old age, what makes them either more rigid or more flexible in their thinking and views. Um, and they talked about flexibility as or more flexible and wise. Okay, and that wisdom was defined in a particular way, I think probably a more psychological way than we'd use it, but helpful nonetheless. So navigating situations that don't have clean answers was one way. Being able to disagree well without polarization, and holding multiple truths and still being able to make a decision. So it was all around this area. And they said particular qualities predicated wisdom rather than rigidity. Um, so the first was the ability to tolerate uncertainty. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Just to be able to be with that. And I was talking about that a couple of weeks ago in relation to, well, I was using myself as an example with a health issue. And then the other quality, and this is really the main one that they talked about, was ambiguity. Um, I don't know who is right about this. When you've got unclear or contradictory information about something, but being able to hold that, being able to stay with that. And uh, my partner, Vajrapriya, pointed out to me that this was quite similar to when Banti talks about the poet John Keats' negative capability, a capacity to dwell in a state of not knowing, without what Keats calls any irritable searching after fact or reason or fact of reason. So this touches on something when in this practice we talk about not thinking about something, but being able to directly be with it. Um, Again, Subhuti in the Seven Papers in imagining the Buddha or imagining the Buddha, he says being attentive without will or expectation or urge to resolve. So again, you've got that staying with quality, and he quotes Keats at the end saying, "With no mania for explanation." So again, that thinking about um, yeah. So one of the things I wanted to mention was some of you will have no doubt listened to them, but Subhuti's talks on just sitting, which came they're available on Free Buddhist Audio, and they've been there for maybe 10 or 15 years. It was quite a long time ago now that he gave these talks, but yeah, they go into this area to some degree. Um, so back to the psychology journal. And they found in this survey, this research that they did, that wisdom is developed by spending time with discomfort, by being willing to be with what causes you discomfort, and that includes the uncertainty and the ambiguity, without reflexively sort of pushing it away, trying to escape from it, either they say through avoidance, suppression, or rumination directly related to us and meditation. So, as I said, the definition doesn't go as far of wisdom, it doesn't go as far of as the Buddha's, but it is helpful, I think, Um, and the tools that they're talking about that you need to develop are things like self-reflection and emotional stability, both of which we're looking to grow in meditation. But with this receptive kind of meditation, we're actively cultivating that ability to be with things as they are. And sometimes things as they are will be uncomfortable or unpleasant. The body pains, the things that are happening in the world. There are many, many things that can agitate us, agitate the mind. And yeah, we can just notice any tendency to um, fight against that through rumination, through suppression, through thinking about it all the time. I found with world events, especially the wanting to sort of check what's happening, check what's going on in the news. So any kind of reactivity that we notice in our experience, the simple question is, can I be with this? Can I be with this to some extent? And it may be that it's a combination of conscious distraction along with being able to be with something particularly unpleasant, maybe only for a short time. But there's a conscious stretching of that capacity to be with discomfort, and that discomfort be held in awareness, an awareness that's cultivating, helping you be with, because it's a non-reactive awareness. So in a sense, here in the practice, we're using awareness and right view to cultivate our own wisdom, cultivate our own ability to self-reflect, and for that emotional stability. It doesn't mean a lack of emotion, but it means perhaps more quick to have a perspective on that emotion. Um, yeah, maybe the less uh, common ways of reacting. Perhaps you notice that you're responding differently to certain situations. Yeah, so just really noticing those moments, noticing that sense of your own wisdom being developed, growing and developing through your whole practice. Okay, so I'll leave it there if you'd like to set up for meditation.